Hey paintballers, this is Mark coming to you from near Grand Rapids, Michigan, where I play at TC Paintball. I am not an employee of the store or the field, but I love playing there. If you're in the area, come see us. I'm making a short video to show you how to replace your motor in your Spire 3. The reason I'm making this video is because I was having trouble with my Spire, wasn't sure what it was, I contacted Virtue. They said most likely it's the motor. So they made me a great deal, shipped me one out. I couldn't find a video on changing the motor. It's super easy, but if you haven't seen it before, you know, it might be a little intimidating, but I'm going to go through it on the video. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Like I said, if you're in the Grand Rapids area, come play paintball with us at TC Paintball. Hello paintballers. I want to do a short video on this because I couldn't find anything on this on the internet. I have two Spire 3s. The other night, playing leagues, I started having trouble with one of them feeding. And I'm going to show you what it's doing. With no balls in there, the Spire is supposed to keep slowly feeding. Every so often, just turning a little bit. So I turn it on and nothing happens. If I tap the front, I do get some movement, but it's very, very slow. The guys at Virtue, I contacted them. They were really good about it. Got me a good deal on a new motor. Said it looks like the motor. This is what it looks like when it comes. So I'm going to real quick try to install this motor so that everyone here can see what it looks like. So first, we're going to push in the back button, open up the Spire, reach in here. Most of you will know how to do this. Well, you can take out your drive comb, push in this button here, pull your motor out, or pull your board out. Set your shell aside. So this is what it looks like when you get it open. Most of you are going to be familiar with changing your batteries. You want to take your batteries out so you don't have any power going to your board. And then your motor's sitting right here. The newer Spire 3s have a little cover over the motor. This one does not. There's a small tab right here. You can push that in. Gently raise it up a little bit. This little plug going into your motor right here. You want to gently grab both sides of it and work it out slowly. And just gently pull it up. You don't want to pinch or bend any of your wires excessively. Once you start that up, you can pull the bottom of your drive cone out. Okay, once you're to this point, you're going to see that there is a little space up here on the top. That's a hexagon or a octagon shape. Just gently put your screwdriver in there. Very gently pry up on it. On each side. And that'll come right out. See, it's got a little bit of grease or oil on it, but there's no rust or anything like that. Set this little piece aside. I have a microfiber towel out here because as I'm dealing with these small screws and such, I've learned from working on a lot of small electronics that if you drop a screw and it hits the microfiber, it's just going to stay right there and you won't lose it. I've got to get an Allen wrench for this, and I'll be right back with you. All right, I found my Allen wrench. On most of your hobby type stuff, the screws that they use for them, or the bolts, are not very high quality. They generally don't rust too easily if you keep them clean, but you want to make sure that you have a good Allen driver, because if you don't, you'll strip these little screws out. Make sure it seats really nice before you start turning, and then turn counterclockwise, pull those little screws out. There's a washer on there, so keep track of that. Make sure you get that washer off with each one. It'll be important. After you remove those two screws, just push on the motor prop and it'll fall right out. So this is the old one. This is the new one. They look almost identical. Looks like there might be a few changes. The button on this one is brown, the button on this one is white. Yeah, but other than that, they look almost exactly the same. So you want to slide your motor back up in there. Make sure that your plug for your wires is facing the wire channel. That's right by your feed neck, right here. So that's where your plug goes. Your button for your on-off sits right in the back here. Okay. Now look at the top of it. Line up those screw holes. And then it's just a reverse process. These things don't vibrate very much, so you shouldn't need any Loctite or anything. What I like to do with anything like this is start both of your screws and make sure that they both feed in really nice. And then once you get them close, you can tighten them both down. Making sure everything feels solid. Let's see if I can get this on video. There's a little flat spot right here on the motor shaft, and that corresponds to the flat spot right there in your drive head. So, you want to line up the flat spot on your drive head and just gently seat it on there. It should move really easily. And if you look at this, there should be clearance between your screws, your screw head, and your drive hub. And if that worked right, your drive cone should go right back in there and attach down. So that's perfect. Then we're going to just do this in reverse. Take these two small tabs, set them in here like that, making sure not to pinch your wire. Hold your wire up, seat everything back down, click this little tab back in, take your harness, your wire harness, bring it up over the top, and gently plug it in. Do not force it. If you have it upside down, you can bend or break the pins inside, and that will ruin your day. You'll have to get another one. So now that everything's tight, my wires are back in place, my feed cone feels tight, everything looks good. I'm going to replace my batteries. These are brand new fresh batteries. That's why I tested it and contacted the company. First thing you want to do if it's not working, if it's acting like that and it's the first time ever, try new batteries. Okay, now we're going to test it outside. Now that's acting normally. So I'm going to slide it right back into the body, making sure My ramp feels free so it can move paint. Make sure everything's done in there. Click my top back down. I'm going to test it again now that everything's in here. And it is feeding normally. And when I tap it, it starts feeding at a really insane rate. That's what you want. So that was definitely the motor. If you have this problem, depending on how old your Spire is what's going to determine what Virtue can do for you. But contact them. They made me a really good deal. My Spire is not very old. I used it pretty consistently for about a year. And I had bought another one just of a different color and a bigger size. But they hooked me up. I didn't have to pay very much for it. And as you can see, it takes about 10 or 15 minutes if you don't know what you're doing. And if you have watched this video, it'll probably only take you a few minutes. So enjoy. I hope it helps.